So last time we left off with a video showing you a few of the basic tools in Photoshop, how to move things around and get an idea for layers. Now this time I'm just going to take you through some editing with text and how to add some filters and drop shadows and things to text, how to install a more interesting text than what you might have pre-installed on your current machine. And the website for that I'll put in the link beneath the post for our class. It's called dafont, dafont.com, and there's a search box here. Now in the last example our image was of an alien, so your artwork's obviously going to be different, but you can do a search here for different themes. I've just done a search here for alien because it's a Solarian from Mass Effect 3, and I like the look of this font here. And the text that I'd like to put in behind the Solarian's head will just be, I guess, Mass Effect 3. I'll try that. And what you can do is one of two things. I guess the most easiest way to get your font into Photoshop is to click on the font that you want here. Just make sure that it says freeware or free for personal use. If it says that it's donationware or anything else that you need to perhaps pay money for, then don't use it for your artwork. It's just a copyright issue. So this one's free for personal use, so I'm going to click on that. I can see what my text will look like by previewing it by typing Mass Effect 3. That's not how you spell effect, T. And you can select the size of the image that it will create for you. I'll click on large so it stands out in the video, and I'll click submit. What it does is the website creates a little summary for you of what your text will look like. That doesn't quite fit on my screen, so I'm going to change that to perhaps a medium size and see how that turns out. That's a bit better. So it shows you a pretty good summary of the different variations of the font that you can have and the different variations of the text that you've typed in. I like the one at the top. Now this is the sort of cheat way of getting it into Photoshop by doing a screenshot of that image. Alright? So if you don't like installing font files, then do this way. Do a screenshot of that image, which is now on my desktop, which I'll right click on and say open with Photoshop. And that's given me an image of the text I've just typed. The downside of doing it this way is that you can't then edit your text later if you want. Say for example you've misspelt something and you didn't notice until a later time, then you're stuck with what you have. Alright, so now we've got our Mass Effect 3 text in there as an image. I'll put text image here. I'm going to drag this to the top so I can edit it a bit better and you can see more of what I'm doing. I'll push F to focus only on the artwork and Command plus to zoom a couple of levels in. And now you've got an image with a font on it and you want to get rid of the white background. Now the way to do that is to go to your eraser tool, hold down on the eraser tool and select Magic Eraser, and that'll get rid of block color from the background of your text. Alright, then you can change the color of your font by pushing Command U. It'll bring up a hue and saturation toolbar. Click on Colorize and you can apply a color to your font layer and saturation, which is the intensity of the color, lightness and darkness of the color. I'll change it to about there. And again you can see the different colors being applied to that layer. The other thing you can do is apply a color overlay over that whole layer, and the color overlay styles that you can have. Accidentally I've clicked on gradient overlay. I meant to click on color overlay, which will give you a block color over your artwork, your font. Click a color, click one of these other options if you would like as well. You can select from different gradient effects or you can create your own. That one looks a bit gross. I'm going to cancel that. That's one way, and a bit of a cheat way of getting custom fonts into your artwork. I don't personally like that way, so I'm going to delete that. I'm also going to leave this example text that I have here. I'm going to leave that there and show you how to turn that into the same font that we had in this website by downloading the font file. Click on download. It'll pop up here in my downloads folder in a moment. Alright, I'm going to click on that and open it. And you're going to use the font book that's like a system application to help you install fonts. And you open the folder that you've downloaded. There are a couple of TTF. That means, oh, I can't remember. Sorry, I don't know what TTF stands for. Something to do with fonts. True type font, I think. I can't remember. You've got the different examples of the font file itself. You can have an italic, a regular, a bold. I just want the regular font. I'm going to double click on that font file. It opens up the Mac application font book. And then you say, yes, this is the font I want to install, and install it please. There might be a little error that comes up, and the detail of that you can go into and have a look at. There might be some keys on your keyboard that haven't been set up for this particular font. For example, you might type the number 9 and it'll come up with a blank. The person who created the font may have only created the font for all of the letters, not the numbers, as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and install that anyway. Now that's installed my font, I come back to Photoshop, and the name of that font I forgot to look at. What was the name of that font? Let me double check. Alien Encounters. Alien Encounters. Okay, so we go to Photoshop, and we're going to click on the font tool here in the toolbar and just have a look for whatever that name of the font was, which I've already forgotten. Alien Encounters. You can do one of two things. Start typing it. Alien Encounters. Push enter. That's changed my font to the Alien Encounters font now. I'll show you. If that didn't work for you, typing in the font name, what you can do is double click on your font and then click on the drop down and find it manually. I'll just set it to a random font. Now we're going to click on a different layer. Say we've been doing some editing. We come back to our font, double click so it's highlighted, and then drop down and look for Alien Encounters, which might be at the top here. There it is. Alien Encounters is installed on our Mac now. Click on the color of the font. If you don't like that color, then you can change it to, I don't know, something else. Grayish. And I'm going to change that from example text to mass effect 3. You can't really see that because I've changed the color to like a really dark color. I'll change that color again that something stands out, like that. If you want to change the color only for one particular word or one particular letter, you can select the word, select the color, and change it. So blue and pink. And you can Command T to resize. Push return. And I might make that a bit bigger. Maybe a little bit smaller. About there. Now I'm just going to add a couple of these effects. Down the bottom of your layers palette there's an FX button. I'll add a drop shadow to my font to make it stand out a bit more. I can adjust the distance of the drop shadow from the text. I can also adjust the spread, which is the thickness of the drop shadow, and the size of the drop shadow. I can also add any of these other filters or effects to my font. For example, let's see what bevel and emboss does. Not much that I like, so I'm going to turn that off. You can add a color overlay, which is a solid color. You can change the color by clicking on color overlay menu, click on the color and change it. I don't like color overlay, so I'm just going to uncheck that and then click on OK. Alright, so that's how you edit with text in Photoshop and import custom texts into digital artwork. Alright, see you later. Bye.